Hey Fit Mum, I'm Lauren Vandermars with Be Free Shine. Welcome back, and let's get you training smart so we are making sure that you are getting the results you absolutely deserve from your time spent training. So to start with, the first thing I want to talk about is free weights or body weight exercises. So I mentioned getting off the machines, pin-loaded, hydraulic machines for example. When you're on a machine, you're sitting down mostly for a start. This is not so good for your core, your pelvic floor, not so good for your joints. A lot of the machines are, they force your body into a specific movement pattern, and because our bodies are all different shapes and sizes, those machines do not mimic everyone's body as it would. So the benefit of getting off the machines is you're using your core and your pelvic floor as it should be used. You're using your whole body as a machine. You are the machine in your training. This kind of ties into another point that I had, and that is you don't want to be isolating muscle groups, aka train your biceps and go and train your triceps. So what you want to be doing is big movement patterns. So if you've read about functional movement, you could go as far as making it rather functional, but it doesn't have to be super functional, even just big movement patterns. So things like push-ups. You're using your chest, you're also using your core, using your shoulders, you're using your triceps a bit as well. Chin-ups, you're using your back, you're using your biceps, you're definitely using your core in a chin-up. So you're using a lot of your body. What this means is that you are making yourself stronger as a whole unit. We don't walk around life doing movements in our life that we require only one muscle to work at a time. The other benefit of this, so I like to look at the health aspect and that kind of covers it, but the other benefit is you're improving your core, pelvic floor strength, and because you're using so much more of your body, you're burning so many more calories, and it really does help you get lean, so dropping that excessive body fat and toning and strengthening your muscles, which goes into the next one. So maxing out your repetitions at about 6. So it's not that you're doing less, you're actually increasing your workload. So you want to be lifting as much as you can with correct techniques so you're not going to get yourself injured. So if you are unsure, get somebody who knows what they're talking about to check you off. Maybe just get someone to make sure you got the right technique in your training anyway. When you increase your weights, you are improving your strength building. And this again really enhances that calorie burning, dropping excessive body fat and getting strong and lean. If you're training with a weight that you can do more than 6 repetitions, so say you've got 3 sets, you're doing 6 repetitions of chin-ups, if you can do more chin-ups at the end, then it's too easy. So you start adding, say, a weight belt or something like that. Or if you're doing a lunge or a squat and you've got weight, if you can finish 3 sets of 6 and still keep doing more so you can keep going, it's not heavy enough. So when you look at doing high repetitions above that 8 and up to 15, it's not increasing your strength, it's not increasing that calorie burning, it's not going to help you get lean and shapely and stronger. Crunches, I absolutely hate them. They're not good for you. In many ways they are weakening your core. You're not using your pelvic floor, which will weaken your core some more, lead to injuries, that kind of stuff. Not going to help you get a 6-pack unless you're able to see it anyway. I'm just trying to say this as nicely as possible. Now with your core and your abs, your pelvic floor, they're kind of a little bit different. Your pelvic floor is the thing that needs to be working first to kind of switch on the rest of your core effectively. So I do recommend working on your pelvic floor and getting to know how to do that well. I've got several videos on this, so check out my page, Be Free Shine. Your core, if you're doing big movement patterns already, so you've switched out, say, a chest press machine and you're doing a push-up, guess what? You're using your core. If you've got the right technique and you're holding your back in neutral while you're doing a push-up, you're using your core. If you're doing chin-ups, you're using your core. If you're doing squats and lunges correctly, you're using your core. So your core gets used in those big movement patterns. And then of course, the heavier you go with those other exercises and the more challenging they get, the more you use your core. If you push the functional training into, the beautiful world of functional training, and you start doing things with a lot of twists like wood chops or even you're doing exercises with a uneven weight, you're using your core even more. So there's ways of training your core already while you're doing your other training exercises, so really beneficial. But if you're like me, you want to add in some ab exercises as well. Again, I do not use crunches. I hate them. They're not good for you. I dislike them. Quite successfully had a six-pack for as long as I can remember without doing crunches. So it is possible. Like I said, you don't need to do more than 6 repetitions. Just keep making the exercise harder, making sure your form, your technique are right, and you'll be well on your way to having that six-pack you're after. Okay, let's talk about cardio and group fitness classes. I don't like group fitness classes purely because they're unspecific. Now, when I entered into the world of gyms, yeah, I went to group fitness classes. They were fun, I liked the music, they were fun. But I didn't get the results I wanted. And after I'd been doing group fitness classes for a while, I got interested in rock climbing, and so my focus shifted. Yes, I was still trying to get lean because that would help me with my rock climbing, but it was I was very specific and focused with my training. I was really focused on rock climbing, and I had to really break away from the group fitness classes. The reason I don't like group fitness classes is because they are unspecific, and usually they are just full of exercise, random exercise. There are thousands upon thousands of exercises out there in the world. Do they mean you're going to get your results? No. They might make you fitter, they might make you stronger, they might make you sweat. Does that mean you'll get the results you want? No. So this is why I divide exercise and training. Training to me is a very specific, results-oriented thing. I know I want this result, therefore I'll do these exercises to get that result. Training. Exercise, I'm just exercising because I like exercise. That's how I look at group fitness classes. It's just exercise for the sake of exercise. When you look at things like pump and stuff like that, again, they've got that very, very, very high repetition and a low weight, and honestly, it doesn't give you the strength you want. It's not going to burn the excess body fat like you want. In fact, it'll probably go the opposite. So let's talk about cardio briefly. Cardio is another really controversial thing in health and fitness, or mostly fitness. I don't look at cardio the way most people do. So obviously there's a big movement of cardio is a waste of time, lift weights. I agree, you don't need cardio. But then of course there are other people like, oh, if you lift weights you'll get too big, so do cardio. I don't agree with either of them. How I use cardio is for my health, but it also works extremely well if you're doing it right for fat burning, and also teaching your body to burn fat for fuel, which is very good for your health, and also to stop your heart rate from going too high. So if you've ever seen any of my videos before, you might know that I've had chronic fatigue. It's an extremely long story, but in the end I was actually, every time I'd do any training I'd get sick, and it was like I was allergic to training, so I'd train next day, without doubt I'd have a cold. What we found out is every time I did any sort of exercise, even just walking up 4 stairs, my heart rate would shoot through the roof. And so obviously when I was training, no wonder I was getting sick, because my heart rate was well above a healthy range, way, way, way too high. So what I had to learn was to train with my heart rate down low. And so cardio, done right, with a heart rate monitor, I call it my rule, and learning to breathe through my nose, so no mouth breathing, means that I can train and not get sick. Hallelujah. I still have chronic fatigue. We're not all the way out of the dark yet. So I still have limitations on my training, but at least when I do train, it won't trigger that same response anymore. This has worked absolutely brilliantly with so many of my clients. They don't have to work as hard. We can burn a lot of fat for fuel. I definitely lost a lot of body fat when I started it, even though I was only doing a kilometre run every day to begin with. Bringing your heart rate down means you're not going to leave your training fatigued. God, there's just so many benefits to it. So cardio, you don't need it. It's not a prerequisite to get lean. It isn't, but it's an amazing, amazing tool if used well. Okay, number 6, this is the last point, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with exercise. It has to do with your relationship with yourself. So it's all well and good to have the right tools in front of you when it comes to training and exercise and dieting, but at the end of the day, this will override everything. So I've had clients who just believed they were fat, or just believed there was always something wrong with them, they were sick, or they were always getting injured. And it wasn't until we flicked these switches upstairs that the obstacles moved out of the way and suddenly they were getting amazing results. I've done it myself. I suffered with binge eating for 10 years and depression, and while my training was solid, in the end the binge eating took over. I couldn't put a stop to it anymore, so I had to change something so that the binge eating was gone. I could talk for hours about this, but I won't. But I just have experienced, both myself and with my clients, how when we've changed little things about their relationship with themselves, how dramatic and how drastic the improvements have been in their health and in their training. So again, I could talk for hours about this, but I'm not going to. Get onto my Facebook page, Be Free Shine. The URL is Be Free and Shine. And like my page, and I put stuff, videos, content up about this all the time, so you will get a chance to learn it. Anyway, I'm so glad you've watched this video. I'm pleased to have shared this information with you, because it kills me when I see people wasting their time in the gym, because you can seriously get the results you want. Anyway, have an amazing day. I'm Lauren Vandermast with Be Free Shine.